Guys, when I tell you that stopping listening to music has probably been one of the most transformative things that I have done for myself recently, I am not joking. And just a quick disclaimer, I haven't completely stopped listening to music. I'm slowly working on it, but my consumption has reduced significantly because I used to be obsessed with listening to music. I couldn't do anything without having music in the background. First thing I do when I sit in my car is turn on my music. Obviously say my dua, but then put on my music. And then if I'm in the house cooking or doing something, I'm listening to music. If I'm in the gym working out, I'm listening to music. Like, music was literally always on in the background, and I didn't realize how disturbing and how chaotic music actually made me feel. My mum always says, Sarah, Quran and music cannot exist in your heart at the same time. And I never quite fully understood what she meant by that. But now I'm slowly starting to get it, because that's so true. And I always used to say, but mama, if I listen to it in small doses, if I listen to it here and there, it should be fine. But it really is hard, because music does have a massive impact on our feelings. Music has the power to take us from a state of feeling, super elated and happy to making us feel really down and depressed and sad, or vice versa. So clearly, music has an impact on our emotions, on our soul, I guess. And I'm sure that even if we take religion out of it, we can all agree that music nowadays is so demonic. Like, the music, the lyrics, the message, the subliminal messages they are applying into these lyrics is just disgusting. And I don't know how people can listen to that and not actually feel affected by it. And I noticed that when I listened to music all the time, I just always felt very a chaotic energy. I never really felt at peace. I always felt very hyper almost. It felt like I was very much always unsettled. I wasn't ever feeling very clear in my mind. It always felt like I had the lyrics also in my mind. So I would go to bed, or I'd be wandering around, going for a walk, and the first things that were in my mind were the lyrics of a song that I was listening to on repeat. So it stuck. It really stuck. And recently, there have been so many studies which found that music has an impact, or the frequency of music and the hertz of certain frequencies and sounds has an impact on our cells. And we already know that the Quran has an incredible impact on our cells, on how even water molecules respond to the sound of the Quran because of its frequency and because of the hertz of the Quran. It has a very stabilizing, very neutral effect on our cells, whereas music makes our cells vibrate a lot. And of course, that made sense as to it explains to me why I felt so chaotic and hectic in my energy all the time. And as with everything, there is clearly wisdom in why Allah said that music just wasn't good for us. There's a reason why it was prohibited. I know a lot of people have discussions over whether music is actually prohibited Islamically or not. I'm not going to engage in that discussion, but if it is prohibited and if it is haram, then I can see why, because of the impact that it has on our state. Now, since I reduced my consumption of music, I've noticed that I am spending so much more time with my thoughts. I have more time to hear myself think out loud. I have more time to engage with myself and figure out what I actually feel or what I actually want. That is so important, because how many of us actually have alone time with our own thoughts? Because in this day and age, we're so consumed by a fast-paced life. We're always busy with something, whether it's speaking to another person, texting our friends, watching something on TV, listening to music. We don't have alone time. We don't have space to ourselves to just be. And since I've cut out music, I have really found that I've reconnected with myself. I'm in touch with my feelings and my emotions a lot more. And I can hear what I am saying, what my thoughts are thinking, rather than what's been infiltrated into my mind. And it's so true that what you listen to and what you feed your mind is the background noise when you are silent. So, when you're quiet, what are you thinking? What is the self-talk that you are telling yourself? What are the things that you are listening to that are impacting your self-talk? Now I understand why what you surround yourself with and what you feed yourself is so important, because on the most basic level, you do get impacted by it. So instead of music now, what I'm doing is I'm listening to a lot of podcasts on well-being, health, also on religion. I'm also listening to a lot of Quran. I'm listening to a lot of dawah. I'm listening to a lot of scholars and people that talk on Islam that I enjoy listening to. For example, Omar Sulaiman. So whenever I've got a moment of, time, a moment of spare time to myself, I want to feed myself with something beneficial. I want to educate myself. I want to gain knowledge, because there is so much knowledge out there in the world. Why waste it listening to the lyrics of all of these horrible, like, demonic songs, which are usually overly sexualized, about drugs, alcohol, just basically about promiscuity, things that are not good for us. And I'm also so happy because I feel that I finally understand what my mum means when she says that the Quran and music cannot coexist in your heart at the same time. Because when I was listening to music obsessively, in my quiet time, I wouldn't hear the Quran in my mind. I wouldn't be repeating du'ats and saying azkar. Whereas now, my azkar are literally always on my tongue because they're in my mind. Or I'm hearing like the Quran in my mind, like certain verses that I'm hearing, they're replaying in my mind. And if you want to be able to have the shahada on your tongue, if you want to be able to have the adhkar and, just a conversation with Allah all the time, because conversations with Allah shouldn't just exist when you are praying, but they should be happening on a regular, when you're going about your daily business. And subhanAllah, since I've cut out music, I've definitely been, I feel, engaging with Allah a lot more. I've constantly got the azkar and the du'ats on my tongue, and it's just such a blessed state to be in. And I definitely recommend that if you are listening to music, maybe just try reducing how much you're listening to it and wean yourself off it slowly.